Hello, and welcome to F Them Fish, AuDHD for Grown-Ups with your neurodivergent besties. That is Yo, Callie Elwood-Barrett, and my vivacious, I love the word vivacious, co-host,
Jane Girton. Hi.
Hello, everyone. We are here to talk about all things neurodivergent with you. That is brain stuff, work stuff, relationship stuff, all of the stuff that you may come up and not have anybody to talk to about. So we want to do that for you. And if that's your jam, stick around. But I'd have to warn you, we swear.
We love to swear.
We do.
Love a good fucking swear word today.
I know. Today there might be a few. Look, I mean, there always is, let's be honest. But look, I always wonder on that bit, how many people go, oh, not for me.
Me too.
As soon as we say that, I'm like, oh, and in my mind, they're always American. I don't know why. I just feel Americans don't like swearing. Europeans, they're like, fuck yeah. Maybe not in that voice.
I mean,
the
my
Brits
husband's
definitely
American, and he's fine.
Yeah, that's true. I know lots of Americans actually who swear as well. But if we can go straight into a side quest, it's because I once dated an American guy. And let me tell you this story. Oh my God, I've never told this publicly, I don't think. Hang on a sec, let me just check career potential fallout. No, we should be fine. When I used to work in finance, I did work in finance because of course I did. I had to fly, and I was living in Adelaide, I had to fly to Queensland for a work training trip with a new company that I worked with. And on my way there, I got on the plane and I was speaking to my best mate, on the phone shoot, and I said, you know what, I think I'm going to fuck an American this week. Right, I know, right? Just random, out of nowhere. I was obviously in my hoe era, but I literally said those words to her. And then when I got there, I was on my own, bouging it up as you do. I was in Queen Street Mall or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And with my book, Being All Mysterious, reading a book. It was a few years ago, so although we had mobiles that I could use on the airplane, it wasn't, I don't think I had a Kindle or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm just there reading my book in one of these little cafes in the middle of the mall, and it's an outdoor mall, right? So I was there and some guy comes up and starts speaking to me while I'm there, and I'm like,
I'm just mysterious.
I'm just so mysterious. Look how smart I am, and I'm just beautiful.
I can read.
I was doing all of that, and I was, but also no, gross, go away. He was not my type at all, right? So then this other guy comes up, and he's like, oh hey babe, because he could see I didn't want it, and he just started speaking to me as if we knew each other, and he was American.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, so I fulfilled my potential on that week.
You manifested that.
I manifested it. But then I dated him for a while. So he was actually an adventure racer, and he has a pretty big adventure racer. It's a type, it's like a hardcore kind of triathlon almost type thing. But you do, instead of running, road riding and swimming, it's mountain biking, trail running and kayaking, right? And it's a whole thing. They go for days. So, it can go for 7 days.
Honestly is my worst nightmare.
Right.
I couldn't imagine anything worse.
So I used to do it, but not I only used to do minimal ones. I did one overnight, but that was it. Yeah. He was cycling around Australia with his friend. And anyway, so I ended up going to see him. He was hardcore. He has a bit of a presence. He has a bit of a profile. I lived in LA, right? So ended up going to see him. And when I got there, now on that day, I actually said to him, look, Americans, are you all like into Jesus and stuff? Because that's the impression I have that you're going to be. And I think you're going to be disappointed with me because I love that for other people. It's just not for me. And he was like, no, definitely not. Anyway, I fly out to see him in LA a few months later. And when we arrive, he's got this whole thing planned. All of his friends are there. And I immediately start hoofing into this barbecue. Obviously vegetarian, so I was already feeling awkward. And as I start to eat, they're like, now let's say grace. And I'm like, oh, that's awkward. Okay, cool. So I did. Anyway, 1, 2, skip a few. He actually says to me, the reason we don't last, we're out someone, he says, look, I just can't be with somebody who doesn't have Jesus in their life. And I'm like, you motherfucker, I said this to you before the very first interaction.
Who doesn't have Jesus in their life?
That's what he said to me. And so, yeah, so now I think it's that I always just assume Americans won't swear and they're going to be offended if I swear.
But
so that's why I just assume it's Americans that switch off. I hope they don't. Hi, Americans. We feel for you at the moment. Line. We want to carry you in your moments of pain at the moment. So during the next couple of years, at least. So we want to keep you here and provide a soft landing, but it might just be full of swear words.
But do you have Jesus in your heart now?
I don't. No.
Oh my gosh, you didn't learn anything from that 10 out of 10 breakup line.
It's just not for me. Like, I'm just not a religious person. I'm too, what's the word? I don't know. I got kicked out of Sunday school. I got kicked out of brownies. you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, but why though? No, let me talk about the logical fallacy in your argument. That was...
What I'm hearing is you have the devil in your heart.
Look, I'm not that either, okay? God, we definitely lost the rest of the Americans now. Sorry,
the devil
guys.
liveth inside you.
No! Oh my God! No, look, I just think man-made religions cannot possibly be. Anyway, oh God, why are we going
We've
there?
We've really gotten off track here, Kelly.
Look, I'm going to just edit that all out.
we love to swear. That's the end of it. There's no devil involved. There's no Jesus involved. Swearing just regulates us.
They give a load of validation.
How are you? Oh my gosh, we haven't even said hello. I am a fucking mess. I swear to God.
Goblet
I've
today.
had 2 weeks off. You would think I would be my best self. I am not. And that's actually what we're going to talk about later. Routines.
Okay.
Because if you'd ever told me I'd be a routine person, I'd have kicked you in your stupid face. And now my routine is so far out, I'm not coping.
Okay, that felt so aggressive towards me. Like you were going to kick me in the face.
No, not you personally.
But it's cool. I get it. I'm so good. I got to see you last week. It was fantastic. Yeah. We had some super wanky dessert and cocktails in a hotel bar.
I know.
You had a meltdown over Melbourne.
It
was great.
I did have a meltdown. I was so disappointed with Melbourne. But look.
Okay, hang on. I have to tell you all, besties, this is what Kelly did. Because it's my favourite. So we did a whole, Callie delivered the workshop, to be fair. I sat in the background and I interjected maybe twice and did not much. But Callie delivered a whole day workshop. Granted, you were tired, you were overwhelmed, you don't know Melbourne. It's cool. But we left the hotel, you, me and Tech Guy, and we went to find a restaurant for dinner. We didn't plan where we were going. We have dietary requirements, which is tricky. But as we left the hotel, you were the one decided which direction we were going in.
Oh, was it?
Why would
you trust me? I'm the only one who doesn't know Melbourne.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I was like, I don't think this is the right way. But you especially were like, no, this is the way we're going. We've seen places up here. So we start walking and then we didn't find anywhere that we could eat. And after 2 places where we tried the menu, Callie just stopped in the middle of the sidewalk and just goes, nah, Melbourne's done. I'm done with Melbourne. There's nowhere to eat. I just can't. I'm not walking down that way. There's no more restaurants. And I kept saying, that way is where the restaurants actually are. So I'm going to keep walking and find somewhere. And I did.
I was so hangry.
You were so hangry. It was delightful though, because I've never seen you have a mini tanty over Melbourne not providing a restaurant within the 1 block you were looking.
Look, Melbourne is not known for its food scene, all right?
It was so good.
Oh my goodness. It was the worst. We had a hell of a trip. Hell of it. But usually Melbourne, you turn up to Melbourne. Last 2 times I've been, you turn up and Melbourne's like, I'm here. I've got you. Here, you want something cool to eat? Here it is. You want some nice dessert? Here they are. You want a lovely place to go where it just feels great? I got one. And you're like, you just fall out of wherever you are and into those places. And this time, it did not quite go that way for me. Yeah,
it's usually when you don't stay at the Paris end of Collins Street. Just say.
Look, it was the closest place to where the workshop was.
Sure.
All right. So
we're all bougie like
look,
that.
Actually, can I quick just say the Sofitel was amazing this time round. They were lovely. So I'm pretty sure they filled my car up with petrol.
Really?
Yeah. Because, so look, listeners, we drove from Canberra to Melbourne and hit a kangaroo. Now, those of you who are familiar with Australia know that kangaroos are fucking huge. Like, when you hit them, they are the biggest killers on Australian roads, right? It's kangaroos. I'm not making that up, right? Like most car accidents or fatal car accidents, I shouldn't say most, a lot of car accidents that happen are as a result of people either swerving to avoid kangaroos or hitting kangaroos, and they are solid, right?
They're huge.
So we were on 110 road, 110 kilometers an hour was the speed limit. It was late. We just swapped. I was driving and then swapped a tech guy and he was driving because I'm like, no, I don't like this dusky kind of time. I find my eyes don't feel like I can see very well at dusk. Nighttime's fine. Daytime's fine. It's just that dusk thing. I'm not that confident. So I swapped with him and he'd been driving for about 5 minutes, which is good because he's actually a bit more of a nana driver than I am as well. But we were like at 110 was the speed limit. So he was probably doing about 105. I'd have been doing 110.
50.
Not 110 I would have been doing. But no, so he was doing about 105 or whatever. Anyway, he sees this kangaroo, does everything right because you're not supposed to swerve to miss kangaroos because you go into a tree. Usually if you're going at speed and you swerve, you can flip the car, you can do all sorts of things, right? But he just repositioned in the space of microseconds almost. He managed to not brake ridiculously so that again lost traction with the road or anything like that, but he braked really well and then kind of just reposition the car ever so slightly so that it didn't hit directly in the center, but it meant that the whole impact was on my side, and impact was probably at about 80 k's an hour, right? So what's that, 50 miles an hour, something like that, I think, but about 80 kilometers an hour. It took off the entire front corner of the car, gone completely. And I was a bit sore for a few days, had a bit of the whiplash, and my back obviously got a bit sore, but honestly, an impact at that speed, we were so flipping lucky. Dead set, the way that he responded meant that we didn't hit a tree, we didn't flip the car, etc. We didn't even go off the road. And we were so lucky as well because we're in the middle of nowhere at this point. And just so happened one of the local council rangers went past and and he ended up coming back to see if we were okay. Taped up, put some cable ties on our car and stuff for us, and then we carried on. We drove into then Bendigo, which was about 30 minutes away, and the car was fine. We got it assessed the next day. It was actually drivable. Even the wheel alignment wasn't out, so my car was brilliant.
Wow.
I know, right? Literally the bumpers did what they're supposed to do. They don't exist anymore, but they they did what they were supposed to do, and we were able to drive it back from Melbourne to Canberra. So it was fine. It's going to need a lot of repairs, but from a structural and engine perspective, absolutely fine. Could not believe it. But anyway, that had happened. That was a long story. I'm sorry. I've only had 2 side quests, but that happened before getting to Melbourne. And so then we had to get to Melbourne, and then, as you say, it was just all a nightmare.
Hang on, just setting the scene for everyone. You stayed at the Sofitel on Collins Street in Melbourne. For anyone who doesn't know Melbourne, Collins Street is quite a long major street in the middle of the CBD, and it's got 2 ends. One end's the end with the main train station and a lot of offices around there, and then the other end, as we term it colloquially, I can't say that word, is the Paris end of Collins Street because it's where all the high-end boutiques are. It's the Tiffany's, it's the Cartier, it's the, Burberry and Louis Vuitton, and all those shops are all at the Paris end of Collins Street.
Look, you're making me sound unrelatable at this point.
And that is where you stayed. That is where the Sofitel is.
But importantly, I get a big discount there.
Hang on, that's
because
irrelevant
of my membership
right now.
Yeah.
Because you rock up to the Sofitel at the Paris end of Collins Street in this car that has been demolished by a kangaroo.
It's got no front on it.
To valet park parking.
We did get valet parking as well because it comes with the membership.
So you rock up with half a car to valet parking at like this fancy hotel.
And the thing is as well, like we've stayed at Sofitels. So, okay, importantly, we have an Accor membership, which literally you save so much money when you have that, right? And so we got one night free with the membership. We got major discounted rates, and the people who would organise the workshop, they actually paid for one night of the accommodation as well. Hence the fact that we were like, yeah, we'll stay at the Sofitel. And it was the closest one to the hotel that the workshop was in. It was like, well, I could go somewhere else, but then I'm going to have to, the logistics, and that's why we did valet as well, although we had to pay a little bit for it. The logistics of having to then find somewhere, I just couldn't do it. My brain was like, it's not happening. This is not happening. I will tantrum even more, right? And so,
but it was one of those things where it was like an overwhelmed splurge.
Yeah.
And then you rock up with half a bumper gone.
It was so funny. I apologise to the valet. It's bad enough that I'm only driving a Mazda CX-5 anyway, right? It's bad enough that we're doing that at the Sofitel. But I pull into this, and the entryway at the Melbourne Sofitel is the bougiest entryway. You drive into an alley, and then it opens up into this courtyard, and it's all covered. And there's like,
it's gorgeous.
It's really lovely. Like, it's the first time I've stayed there. And we were like, we drove in, and I went, well, this is even fucking worse, isn't it? Speaking of tech guy. So we pull in, and I shit you not, there's a Porsche, there's an Audi, there's a Jag, there's all that type of stuff. And I pull in my battered up Mazda. And I'm like,
guessing making some fun sounds by that
point. No, it was fine. As I say, mechanically, it was fine. And I said, literally, I was like, he opened the door and kind of looked at me a bit funny. I was like, hi, yes, we've got this booked in with yourself. Look, we hit a kangaroo on the way over. Like, I went into full over-explaining mode. This guy probably couldn't care, right? No. But I was like, I'm going to tell you anyway. I was like, I'm so sorry about the state of the car, bringing the whole place down, was what I actually said to him. And the thing is, I can get very British in those moments, and I sound terribly posh. And if anybody knew me, that I grew up in council housing, you know what I mean? Like, I am not terribly posh. And so, yeah, I apologise to the valet, but I'm pretty sure they put petrol in it for us because we'd put petrol in Bendigo, driven like an hour and a half to Melbourne or whatever it is, and then when we left, the tank was beyond full.
They totally put petrol in it.
Right? I think they just felt sorry for us. I think
I was
they felt
gonna
sorry
say,
for us.
maybe that's not normal, and they just were like, oh, these poor people are poor. Let's fill it up.
I think that's what it was. And the thing is, I'd arranged stuff in the room as well, like for tech guys. So they'd put a little teddy bear and like some wine and chocolates and a thing saying happy birthday and all that type of thing, right? They did all these sorts of lovely things. And the staff were exceptional for the entire, like every interaction we had in the hotel was just phenomenal. So it was very lovely. Everything was really great. But yeah, it was
But you were bringing the vibe down by being
I was
a total scuzz bucket.
Yes, I really was. And I did that thing where I was like, are we supposed to tip? So, because we had valet, and then they brought their bags up because we had so many bags because we had to set up the room as well to be able to work in. So I had literally computer monitors and stuff like that. We had so much stuff with us.
You guys are the worst guests.
And we were the worst. And I had all of my stuff for the workshop. So there was so much. And yeah, it was just a bit of a nightmare. Although I will say we are also the best guests because I cannot be messy. So everything is always clean, and I'm always like, no, we don't make the cleaners' lives difficult here. We actually just act like decent human beings. Let's not do the disgusting things that people do in hotel rooms. We're the ones that always hang the towels up, so they don't have to wash them.
Wait, do people not do that?
Yeah,
I always do that.
Right. But like when sometimes you go into people's hotel rooms and it is like a clothing bomb went off. When I go into hotel rooms, I hang everything in the wardrobe. First thing I do is I unpack my suitcase, I hang things in the wardrobe, or I put them in the drawers, or I do whatever. Right?
I did notice that. I walked in and I was like, do you live here?
That's what's
happening? Is this your apartment? There's monitors and hanging clothes.
Yep. Thankfully, tech guy thinks it's cute.
Okay.
So when we first started staying in hotels, I'd be like, oh, I can't go straight out for dinner. I just need to make myself at home first. I have to do it. I have to. Like, yeah, my space is really important to me. And I've learned this over time. And actually, it's kind of what I wanted to talk about today.
Is this the routine thing? You need it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on, before you do, let me just say, I don't think they were expecting a tip out of you because they were probably like, this poor bitch needs to fix her car. This pov bitch had to bring her own computer monitors.
Yeah. Well, we'd asked about the business centre. So I'd sent them a thing saying, look, what business centre have you got? Because Tech Guy was just going to set up in the business centre and live his best life while we were doing the workshop. And they said, yeah, well, we've got one desk down by reception. And we were like, that's not a fucking business centre, dude. That's like, no. And so Tech Guy was like, absolutely, I will never. And I was like, no, I don't blame you. That would be if you have an emergency and you need it, fair enough. But other than that, no. So we had to take the monitors.
Tech Guy did end up not doing that anyway and just sitting in the hotel cocktail bar, drinking multiple wines and snacking
eating
on
truffles. What the fuck?
Eating truffles and drinking wine.
Life. It was his birthday the day
did
before,
live his best
so
life.
you know. Yeah. Well, I was like, cool. So you're in your favourite city in the world, like one of, and you're going to go out and about to all your favourite places, and you're going to have a great day. And then he came back and he'd just been sat in his hotel all day. He did go to Patricia's, truffles, which is his favourite coffee shop, but we didn't go to Movida, which is his favourite restaurant. Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I thought we were going to go on the Wednesday, but it didn't happen. And a lot of it is, you know, it's Spanish food and I don't know how much I'd be able to eat. So I think that was his concern.
It's also because he just sat there drinking wine and eating truffles and not thinking about dinner, not thinking about us. How rude.
I know. And that definitely didn't come up that night when we were wandering around trying to find somewhere. And I definitely didn't say, yeah, because, you know, you couldn't have possibly found some. I thought you might have. I think I actually said it in a really passag way where I was probably like, I guess you couldn't have just found somewhere that we could have been. Or I really thought you would have just found somewhere for us to go.
100% maybe you did. And then I piled on top of that.
Probably. Yeah.
Anyway, routines. Sorry, keep going.
Before you do, look at this. Somebody made me this really cool blanket.
Oh my gosh, who would do that?
For my birthday. Jane. Look at it. For those of you who are not watching on YouTube, and honestly, you should seriously go to YouTube to have a look at this. She crocheted me a whole Nana blanket in a circle with all these little sunflowers all around the edge. It's the most beautiful thing. Look at it.
And it wraps all up into like a bouquet of sunflowers.
Yes, it looked like a bouquet of sunflowers. So I've been practicing and I can wrap it up now as well. So when PB saw it, she was like, oh, who made you some flowers? And I was like, watch this. And I opened it up so that it could be a blankie. And then she was like, I love this so much. And she had it on her all night last night while we were watching a movie. And then she said, do you think Jane could crochet me something? And I was like, I'm sure she could. So she has a very specific order.
Okay.
Asa from Baby Monster.
Oh,
they all have little what's the word? They have these little like caricatures, and hers is like a face that's got one round eye, one closed eye, something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, you could Google it. It's ASA from Baby Monster, and she wants a crochet Asa bag. I told her I'd ask.
This is the first letdown PB is ever going to have from me. There is no freaking way I could make that. I think that would be
quite tricky. Yeah.
I will see what I can do, PB.
Yep. Okay. I'll let her know that you're going to have a look and see what you can do. Yeah.
No promises.
They give a load of validation.
So we've actually had a listener letter, right, about routines. And what I thought might be good was if I read that out, because it really takes me into where I'm at, because I am in Struggle Town. I took a week off for school holidays. Then we had our week in Melbourne. Now this week I'm flying to Sydney this afternoon, and then I've got another workshop all day luckily in Canberra on Thursday, and I've got other client work. My emails are out of control. Everything just feels completely out of control at the moment. And these are things that I love doing and fun stuff. But now I'm so out of my routine that I'm just really struggling.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be something to talk about. Although I do know we've just yapped on because that it's nice to be speaking to each other again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought, and then I saw this listener letter. So I say letter, it's obviously an email, not a letter. Although if anybody wanted to write, I'm not going to give you my address.
No,
Yeah.
we're not going to do letters.
No. I thought it would be a good thing to look at, because I think the routine piece, if you'd said to me that I needed routines, like I say, I would have been like, no, I don't. Literally, one of my best friends pulled out at my wedding because they got so frustrated that I am just so lastminute.com. I've had the questions from my best friends in the nicest possible way about, are you ever going to settle down?
Oh, yeah, I have that question.
Are you ever going to basically grow up? And I'm like, no, hopefully not. So,
ew, gross. No.
Ew. Yeah. So so I'm, it's confronting to realize that actually there is an element of routine needed. So, and
have you ever done your Gallup strengths test, your Clifton strengths?
No, I don't think I have, unless it's something I just don't realize that's the name of a thing that I did once. I don't know. But
I reckon you'd remember. It's kind of like a personality test, but it's not about your personality. It's about like traits and things, and capitalizing on your strengths and looking at the 34 traits that they have, and like enhancing your strengths and then maybe working on the ones that aren't so strong. I did that, and I look back on it now and go, oh my God, how did no one know I was ADHD? Like my least good strength, that's the worst term like English ever, but you know what I mean? My lowest ranked strength is consistency. And so I'm like you. I cannot set my own routine, but I need routine. Yeah. And that's where my husband sets it for me. So I feel you on the lack of routine thing.
Well, you see, I can set my own routine. I love routine, it turns out, but I love to create systems. So for me, I think it doesn't feel like a routine, but it's almost like a network of systems. And maybe that's what it is. I'm thinking this out loud right now, actually. Yeah. Because I'm always saying, and my approach, my methodology, if you like, to coaching even, is around, if we consistently expect the way we show up in a behavioral way to always work, to be brilliant, it's like almost like if we always depend on willpower to remember to do things, to finish tasks, to do whatever those things are, if we only depend on willpower, we're much more likely to fail. So it's always about, how do we look at a structural response or a structural intervention to reduce the need for behavioral tightness. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for here. That's the word. Thank you. Yeah. And so I've always got lots of systems, lots of structures, lots of processes, things like that in place. Systems is the word that I like. But so I think I just have like a network of systems. And when those systems then are all out of the place, I think that's where I then struggle. So when I haven't got all of the stuff around me that I can do for a nighttime routine, when I'm not doing my morning routine because it's a late night, so I don't then get up and do yoga, or all of those things, and that's fine for a little while. But then I think when they build up, I just fall in a big old pile, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm in a big old pile now. So yeah, what do you reckon? Should we go into this listener letter? It's a bit of a long one, but
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, okay. It says, hi Callie, Jane, and all of the pod animals. Your episode about noise sensitivity and big feelings made me realise that some of what I call being organised might actually be the way I keep my nervous system from becoming completely overwhelmed. I have autism and ADHD, and from the outside, I look like I've got everything together. I'm exceptionally organised, I plan ahead, I rarely miss things, and people often tell me they wish they could be on top of life as I am. Oh my God, sorry, just a quick thing. Ouch. That... Right, that one. Yeah, okay. A few weeks ago, we had family come to stay, and I was genuinely excited about it. I planned everything. I organised outings, moved work around, stocked the house, made sure everyone would have a really great time. When I was planning it, it felt fun and completely manageable. But having people in the house for several weeks has changed every part of my routine. Meals are at different times, there's more noise and conversation, I've got less alone time, plans keep shifting, and the small pockets of time I normally use to reset have disappeared. Like, I swear I didn't actually write this. Okay,
you could have.
Oh
Either
my
of
God,
us could have.
yeah. I'm just, this whole thing that I've just had for the last few weeks, when I was planning it, it felt brilliant. I was so looking forward to it, and then I'm just like, why am I the worst? Anyway, but I didn't fall apart straight away. It has happened slowly. Everything's piled up. I'm behind on messages. I'm forgetting things I normally would never forget. I'm staying up too late trying to catch up, then waking up already exhausted. I still look like I'm functioning, but underneath, it feels like I'm hanging on by a thread, and I can feel myself getting more and more dysregulated and less settled. The hardest part is the guilt. I love the people who are here, I really do. And this was something I chose and I look forward to. Everyone else seems to be enjoying it, and I keep thinking I should be grateful and making the most of it. But instead, I'm finding myself counting down until things go back to normal and then feeling awful for wanting that. I know I'm not going to see them again for a long time, so I want to be able to make the most of the time that I'm here, but instead I feel like I'm acting like a bit of a grumpy child. Why is it that a temporary change in routine has affected me so deeply, even when it is something positive that I've planned for and was looking forward to? And how do I get through the rest of it without resenting the people I love or showing that how unsettled I am and then worrying that they will resent me? And I feel like a terrible person for needing my normal life back. Now, they have asked to keep that anonymous. I should have probably said from anonymous at the top, but they've asked to keep that anonymous, and they are from Manchester in the UK. So,
oh, bestie, yeah. Why are you calling me out like this?
Right.
I feel attacked because I can relate so hardcore.
Yeah, and I feel when I read some of these things sometimes that I skim them and I'm like, yep, I'm going to read that one out. And then I read it out and I'm like, well, I'm going to cry while I'm reading it now. This is bonkers. And it's a real challenge, right? When you are someone, and I think there's a lot of late diagnosed women particularly, because this is a really female or AFAB experience when you get diagnosed late. Often you get diagnosed late because you're so good at this stuff. Mm-hmm. You're so good at holding it together. And then perimenopause hits, or COVID was a big one because we have all the systems and the strategies and we're the caregivers. So we don't get to fall apart all the time. We have to keep our shit together, right? And so then when something hits and there's a destabilization in the routine or the systems network, for me, everything tends to fall apart.
Yeah. We unconsciously have learned what helps us get through. So a lot of the time, it's not until your routine changes and you don't know why what's happening is happening. Like, I will often find that I need my alone time to reset, and that I was always told that was an introvert thing, but it's actually nothing to do with that. It's that's where I need to regulate, and to do that I need my safety show, and I need my stupid little game that distracts my brain enough, or I need to lie down and close my eyes for 15 minutes, whatever it might be. But doing that without someone else perceiving me or observing me or thinking, oh, why do you need to do that? Or that like self-imposed fear of them judging me, all of that comes into it. And it's not until you're thrown out of your routine and out of your normal that you even realize something's not up. I mean, something's wrong. Yeah. And it's hard to then know why it's wrong, because if you're not conscious of all those things and what you need, then you don't know how to fix it while you're on the go.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a lot of people actually listening who can hardcore relate to this, because when you're trying to, I don't know, for me, I spend probably far too much time not being a stereotype, actively trying not to be a stereotype, which I can hear the problem in that. But a lot of that is because, like many people listening, when you've spent decades being the capable one, being the one who's great to be in the leadership position or in an emergency, being the one that makes sure, if you're in a marriage, for example, and you organize everything, you plan everything, you're the one who does everything, it's kind of confronting and irritating, actually, when that doesn't go so well. And then you're like, well, why is this all falling apart all of a sudden? I'm not, just because I've got a diagnosis doesn't mean now I get to just, make excuses and say it's okay for everything to fall apart. That's kind of where I get to. And I'm aware that there is ongoing work within that. So I don't know.
We do still have to, we talk about this in our sessions or coaching sessions, we do still have to mask every day. all of us have strategic masking where we need to get through our days, basically. Whatever protects us and makes us feel the most safe, we put a mask on for it.
Yeah.
And that includes things at home. So this poor bestie who has this house full of people they love, don't get me wrong, I've been there, I get it. And when you're planning it, it's so exciting. But without being conscious of your own needs and planning for that, it falls to crap because that masking is 24/7. And when you are aware of your diagnosis, but you haven't yet built in those safe systems or fallbacks to take off the mask and reset, it's exhausting and more exhausting than before you're diagnosed, I think.
Yeah, and I think there's something in that, right? There's a thing called an expectation bias. No, it's not a bias. When you expect something's going to happen, you're more likely to make it happen, right? It's like the observer effect, similarly in research, right? But when you expect, so if I hold for myself a reality that I am not going to be good at being on time, I'm much more likely to be late more often. Whereas if I don't hold that as a reality for myself, if I don't expect that I'm always going to be late, I'll still be late sometimes, but probably not all the time, right? That's probably the best way I can think of describe it at the moment. So I think that happens. They talk about de-skilling after diagnosis, and I actually wonder how much of it is actually, now I think that I'm going to do all these things, so I do all these things. And I don't know, I want to deep dive that a little bit more. I do think there is something in that, what the story we tell ourselves about ourselves, it then becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, right? So I think there's a balance to be had, and I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong. So where I help a lot of people is that balance around unsafe masking and safe masking. You know, the balance around, you should hold yourself to some form of standard around routine and executive functioning, but it needs to be a standard that doesn't break you. So where is the balance, you know? And it's often finding where the pain of the mask, I'm going to call it a mask for brevity's sake, for the pain of the mask outweighs the pain of letting it all fall in a pile. You know what I mean? So you have to find where that pain balances out, because any change that we do, you don't change until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, right? Because everybody has a resistance to change in some way. And so I think there is a piece around that and finding what that is. And for many ADHDers, I think the routine or the systems network isn't just a preference or a way to perform, right? It's not about being productive as the overall goal. It does absolutely help with that. I think it's more that the routines or the systems are the structure that kind of holds together memory and energy and your sensory regulation. All of those things, we account for them sometimes subconsciously within the routines that we develop, or within the systems that we develop and the processes that we develop. And so meal, sleep, transitions, I've been going on a full journey of realizing my challenge with transitions. I don't like getting changed. And I've realized it's because I don't like the transition of changing my clothes. It sounds ridiculous.
No,
I'm
the same.
Stupid to say
I'm
out
the same.
loud. Yeah, so I think it's what holds together all those invisible tasks that go in everyday life to minimize the spoons they take, the resources that they drain. And so when that is then disrupted for like several weeks, like our bestie who has sent us in the email, even by something positive, the effects can all compound, because you don't realize then suddenly you're having these almost imperceptible sensory challenges, and when everything then just piles on. So bestie, look, if that's where you're at, you have to acknowledge that the guilt piece, I get it, it's real, it's horrible, especially when you feel like you're being a bit of a cow to the people around you, a bit more impatient, a bit snappy or whatever. I get the guilt. But if it helps to understand, I think this is why it happens.
I think there is something that our bestie could do or people could do. This reminds me of, super quickly, my husband and I went on a trip to America in 2019, 2020, and it was awful. We did 5 weeks together in a car. We drove across the States, I was so excited in all the planning. I was like, we're going to do all these things and I've never been to the States and it's amazing. Everything went wrong. We were at each other's throats the entire time. We didn't plan in for what we needed. And then when we went to Europe in 2024, I will always say fibro was our saving grace for that trip, because it was the excuse that gave us time and space to actually reset and regulate every single day, because I couldn't keep going. And that's where I usually am, like the ADHD bitch who's like, I want to keep going and there's more to see. And oh my God, all these things. And look, something fun. And my husband cannot do that. So when it came to planning Europe, and again, fibro was the reason that I learned to do this, I would build into every single day downtime, a coffee break on our trip out, and only one activity maximum per day. And if we decided there was something else we could do, we would do it together. But for the most part, we had so much more time and space to be present, and we knew what we needed. And for my husband, that is, he didn't want to be around crowds. He can't do the overwhelming thing. He needs to know where he's going. He needs that routine, not necessarily of knowing, like, we're at home and we do the routine every day. Pardon me. It was more, we know the routine that every day we wake up and we have breakfast, and then we go do an activity, and then we have a little siesta in the afternoon, and then we have dinner. Maybe we'll have something or not, but we took it almost like a routine based on our energy needs and what we needed to be present and okay with each other. So potentially there's something around flipping that concept of routine, not from something task-based, but energy-based.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think that's a really great idea. Seeing where you can find or create almost these temporary routines or rituals, you know, if routine isn't a word that kind of resonates, like as you say, like the plan piece. And again, it's about that balance, right? Where do you get the balance between forcing a routine or something that then feels difficult, or actually having a created system and routine, or whether that's around energy or whatever, that then does preserve your energy because you're having to think less each on the go. So that's what happened with us with the dinner thing, right? Because we hadn't got anywhere planned, we then all had to think on the go. And we all have, well, you and I have the dietaries, which if you're like me, you're then feeling self-conscious about the fact that your dietaries are then dictating where we have to go. And then I was feeling self-conscious about my sensory kind of overwhelm, that I didn't want to go to certain types of places. And I hate RSL type places. I can't stand eating in clubs. Do you know what I mean? And that's a very Australian thing. So
oh, I hate that too. That's why I was like, we're not going to that one that you guys originally suggested.
Oh yeah, the cricketers.
Yeah. I was like, no, not for me.
Yeah, that's fair. And so, but then you're like, I have these needs, but now I'm having shame about these needs as well. Yes. And I'm self-conscious because now this is also not working so well, but actually it's my fault. And how dare I be annoyed because if I'm the one that's, so it's a lot, right? So for the next day we had Mamacitas planned, which is where we'd originally tried to go that night. Obviously we went and it was great. There were other issues around dietaries. That's a whole other thing. Just being able to take off that cognitive load in the moment.
Yeah.
I think that's the balance. So I reckon for this bestie, and coming back to Manchester bestie, don't wait for them to leave before you start to allow yourself to put things in place to just make things easier. Don't wait for everything to go back to normal before you put some things in place. See where you can do what Jane and DJ BJ did in Europe, and can you create little daily routines while you're there, even if you just say, no, I'm going to do breakfast at this time. Even if it's those little things, so you can start your day. I think that is really good advice from what you
I have also
there,
learnt from my beautiful father-in-law, who I love so much, it's ridiculous. I love that he's my Papa G. I have learned, though, not to build our days around him when he's here, because nothing ever happens. Okay. And I get exactly like you, listener bestie. I lose my entire holiday to stress and overwhelm and lack of routine. So I've learned to say, if you would like me to make you breakfast, it's at this time. Or here is the tea stuff, here is the toast stuff, make it yourself.
Yeah.
And this is our option for today. If you'd like to do it, let's do it. If not, you're on your own. I've learned to give choices, and I've learned to hold boundaries around it. And it hasn't made a difference in our relationship in terms of we still have a great trip.
Yeah.
And I am less stressed, therefore he is less stressed. Yeah. Not that he really picks up on that, but he still has a great trip and he still gets to see us, and maybe that's just sitting on the couch or doing gardening. Yeah. And that's fine, but at least I am happier. Yeah. And that means the household is happier.
That is a good point. And if we're in it and we're feeling crappy and grumpy and shitty and everything else, and then the shame compounds on top of that, and then having no routine and ability, because then you feel guilty about taking time to reset. Oh my goodness, it's such a big thing. Yeah. So yes, if you're hearing this and you are in that shame spiral or can recognize that shame spiral, and I'm speaking to myself, okay, I guess we just validate that you're not just being difficult. There's a whole battle that you're fighting for your sensory needs and your executive function as well. Okay, right, fine. I will take my own advice, I guess.
Prioritize yourself, besties. You're important, and your happiness really shines through to everyone else when you're doing well. So don't feel guilt and shame. It's easy for me to say don't feel guilt and shame. I always feel that. But taking the time to do the things that you need and recognizing your own needs and prioritizing them is not selfish. It's critical.
No. And I think while you're in that out of routine space, look for just a couple of anchors, a couple of different things you can do now that you're not going to be able to reset or rebuild your whole routine. And you shouldn't try and do that in this space. You should just look for those couple of anchor points. And I've learned from you about getting down on the floor.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I do that. I never used to do that at all. And you do it all the time. And so it's something that you always look so much better when you do it. I was like, I want some of that. So I do it a little bit now, and I get down, not always, but I do get down on the floor sometimes, and it makes me feel better. Just a little bit of a stretch, because I love doing yoga. Just a little bit of the stretch. So,
and I'll be honest with you, it's also a little cheeky way that I can rock without people like flagging it as me being weird or different or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's great. So I think choosing those couple of little anchor points or routines that give the greatest sense of stability for the least effort, right? I think that's key in these moments. And also, potentially like you did with Papa G, and I don't know if you actually named it as such, but to be open about it and say, right, well, these are the things that we're doing. So you get to join in on that, and potentially, depending on who the guests are, because you haven't said, them being family, you don't have to make them responsible for your well-being, but you can invite them inside the bubble a little bit, I think, and say, look, I'm really loving you being here, but I've realized just need a little bit more downtime or a little bit more routine. And I think if you say that, it's about that clarity as kindness piece, because they will have noticed, right? And they're going to be like, absolutely. Oh, we're pissing her off, or she's all upset because we're here. And I think it'd be much better to say, actually, I've realized not about you at all. You're being perfect. I love it. But I've realized that I need this. Yeah.
Even write it on a whiteboard, put it on your fridge, whatever it is, so that everybody can see it and you don't have to keep communicating it.
Yep.
And then the one other thing that I would say I always come back to, I think I've said it before in the pod, but it's such a stupid piece of advice that changed my life, is if you are mad at yourself, do some exercise. If you're mad at other people, take a shower. And if you're mad at the world, take a nap.
Yes, I like that. Yeah.
I do it all the time, and it really does help regulate.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think as well, the other thing that I have been looking at is, and Melbourne helped me with this, was that the last few weeks, every time I'm getting really dysregulated, once I eat, I feel better. So I think, again, there's that interoception of we're not really aware of what our body needs. So I'm kind of playing with this idea now of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? I know it's not the be all and end all, but it feels like a useful framing here to go, right, what of my actual physical, critical human needs could I do a little bit better in this exact moment? Will that help me to then do the things that are more up the pyramid, as it were, those higher level needs, my executive functioning based needs, I guess, or activities that need to be done? If I have some water, eat some food, like have a little rest, whatever they are, whatever those things are. If I address those first, does that make a difference? Maybe they won't. I am gathering data at the moment, but it was because, we see the signals, we see the rhythms, we see the patterns. And I'm like, every single time I've then eaten, I've been less of a bitch.
I think you're right though. And I always, because of dietaries, will carry a muesli bar in my bag that I can eat because you just never know where you can get food. Yeah. So having a system in place to be able to serve your basic needs is huge, and it makes such a difference. I'm the same with food. I get very hangry.
Well, I wouldn't have thought I do usually, right? But I think maybe I've just been oblivious to the fact that maybe I do. Who knows? And then, all right, the next bit is then once everything returns to normal, there's going to be a period of recovery, right? That's what I'm worrying about as well, is there going to be more delay once everything goes back to normal? But I think if we allow that buffer almost to be able to go, yes, I'm actually excited to get back in front of my laptop and do some work.
Oh my God.
I feel like it's going to have been 3 weeks and I desperately want to get back in front of it and catch up on everything. I've got stuff that I'm so behind on that hopefully I'm not going to lose clients over, but we'll have to see what it
there will be a period of exhale and a period of rebuilding your energy and rebuilding your motivation, but this is what we do, right? We cycle through the crazy busy and then the rebuild.
And look, my motivation is there to get back into the BAU, and I never have that. And I say BAU
that's crazy.
as in business as usual, but I think that's more just being in my home, being able to look at my business and go, right, where are we at today? And let's do some stuff. So I think that is, I'm looking forward to that.
It'll be good. So for you and our listener bestie, have fun getting back to normal.
Yeah, whatever normal is, however weird your normal is, get back to that. Yeah, and let's all try and feel a little bit less shame.
Please.
Yeah,
that's the dream.
Thanks, Jane. I needed to work that one through because I've been carrying a whole bit of guilt on this one.
Babes.
Well, I really enjoy doing the school holiday stuff, but I think that on the back of then going to Melbourne, which I really overestimated my ability to do standard work while I was in Melbourne. Obviously I didn't expect to have to then spend a whole day trying to get my car sorted out and, and doing all that type of stuff. But
nor did you expect the extra shame of rocking up to the Sofitel in a beaten and battered old car. And then filling it up because they felt bad for you.
Well, let's just say I'm not staying at the Sofitel in Sydney because it wasn't the closest. So yes.
Also, you're embarrassed of your car, but that's fine.
They give a load of validation.
Soon, some sort of routine will come back.
Soon. And I don't ever want routine. This is the AuDHD dilemma, right? I don't want the same routine. I'll get very, very bored with it, but I want my milestones. I want my anchor points. I want those things that I can then have enough of them to then be able to go and flit off and do my other things. Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully there's something in that is vaguely useful for someone.
Hopefully. That's what we're here for. Vaguely useful things.
Yeah. If that resonates with anybody about routines, or if you have other ideas or advice you can give to our bestie from Manchester or to me, please do, because I need it, around how to cope with the routine things. Maybe the idea about the Maslow stuff, the hierarchy of needs kind of resonates. I don't know, let me know. fthemfish@gmail.com, you know where it is.
fthemfish@gmail.com?
Did I not say at?
You did not,
no,
but that's okay.
Yeah.
I got you back, girl.
Thanks, babes. Yeah. So fthemfish@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram. It was so nice to be back with you, actually. Can I just say, I've missed you. We had 2 weeks without it. It was bullshit. Let's not do it.
Felt very weird being on my own. I was like, where's my routine here?
Yeah, right. But I loved your episode of the podcast. I was listening to it and I was like, oh my God, yes. And hilariously, because Tech Guy and I were driving listening to it.
And oh God, is this why you hit a kangaroo?
7-hour drive. No, we'd listened to it several hours beforehand. It's fine.
Phew.
But yes, and we were talking about change and how organizational change and all of that type of thing, because we, talk about those sorts of things on our long car drives. And then we listened to your single episode talking about your Masters of Leadership. And one of the things coming saying that change and like shared language. All of these things obviously is why we came together, right? Because you'd been doing all of that, and then I'm out there just chopsing off about it all. Yeah. And it was like, we have such everything you found I was doing. So that made me feel validated. I was like, look at me.
Good.
Actually doing stuff that Jane found in her research. This is amazing. Not all of it.
Ahead of the curve. Love it. Good.
They give a load of validation.
Love it. I've got a workshop tomorrow in Sydney, one in Canberra on Thursday, and then I have the My Spirited Child ACT conference on Saturday. Yeah, busy
exciting.
Week. I know. Busy,
oh my gosh, I feel weird that I'm the one that's not like darting here, there, and everywhere and back and forth from Canberra and doing a whole bunch of things. I feel really chill at the moment, which is very unlike me.
Right.
We've had a switch in our roles.
A switcheroo. Yeah. Switcheroo, not kangaroo.
Yes, let's not hit any more kangaroos this week, okay?
Oh, no fuckers. You can see his tail on my number plate.
Did you cut the tail off as a trophy?
No, it's like dirty because kangaroos are dirty.
Oh, right.
It's a big dirty tail mark.
Oh, you can see the tail like mark or print.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like a big swoosh. Dirt.
Here's me being like, what do you mean you can see its whole tail on your number plate? Literal brain.
Yes, not literal. All right, mate, we should head off and let everybody else get back to their routine, I guess.
Let's do it. Have a good week, besties.
And hit that follow button. You know you want to. Go back and listen to all of the old episodes because you know you want to do that too. We're better, just saying. All right, everyone. We'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
It's Kylie and friends, too cool, Neurokin and sharing good neurodivergent things. They be clever and quick with a fair bit of sergeant sidestepping, but a step in the right direction, a slight autistic correction. It's more about interception, interpretation, and fuck they give a load of validation.